What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Wellbeing. I'm your host, Jim, and we've got another episode of the Unseen Battles. Today, I've got a fantastic guest, but before I get into my guest, it's time to talk about the Hot Tag Foundation. So, as you know, the Hot Tag Foundation is a non-profit organisation based here in the UK that aims to share wrestling with children across Britain, particularly those in need. Their core activities include collecting donations of wrestling items such as toys, merchandise, and other wrestling goods, distributing these items to children and young people. This primarily happens during seasonal holidays and events such as Christmas. Sometimes they are in partnership with hospitals up and down the UK. So in essence, the Hot Tag Foundation leverages the appeal of professional wrestling to bring joy and a sense of real life superheroes to children, especially those facing certain circumstances. I'm going to play a very short clip and then we're going to get into today's episode.
Ready for turning red, steel claws of vengeance awaken the dead. The silence is shattered, the battle drums roar. We march through the ashes, we're ready for war. No mercy, no chains, no fear in our veins. The fire ignites, we'll never be tamed. Ready for war, the thunder will break, fury unleashed, the earth's gonna shake. Raise the black flag, let the demons soar. We're forged in the chaos, ready for war. The wolves are howling, the night's closing in. A blade in the darkness where shadows begin. The weak will crumble, their cries fade away. We stand in the inferno, we'll never obey. No mercy, no chains, no fear in our veins. The fire ignites, we'll never be tamed. Ready for war, the thunder will break, fury unleashed, the earth's gonna shake. Raise the black flag, let the demons soar. We're forged in the chaos, ready for war.
So there you are, guys. That is the Hot Tag Foundation, along with links to all the other indie wrestling organisations up and down the UK. Now, on to today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely honoured and privileged to welcome one of the greatest minds of the UK wrestling scene. He is the Good Doctor. He is the Prince of Agony. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Callum Crow. Callum, thank you so much for
My
joining me.
name, just so sweet. Well done, sir.
Thank you. I have spent the last couple of hours at work trying to big you up as much as I can, sort of like a Paul
As you
Heyman.
should, sir. As you should.
As I say, it is an absolute honour to have Callum on the show today. This is an interview that I've been wanting to get on the channel for quite a while. It's actually one of the first interviews I wanted to get on. Obviously, scheduling conflicts haven't allowed that, but we finally got Callum on. It is mostly down to myself, Callum, not down to yourself, sir, because you are, of course, the Prince of Agony, so you are the main character.
Well, you let me off so easily there, but yes, no. Not everything is my fault.
Of course. So, a little bit of a background as to my conversations with Callum. As most of you will know, when I first started doing the interviews, I had a certain thumbnail on said interviews, and I believe it was about a month or two ago, I had a message from Sir Callum, who informed me that the thumbnail I was using had a misspell on it, as unseen was spelt with 3 E's, which
That's
I
a good
was
catch for me.
mortified.
I'm dyslexic.
And I was very, very embarrassed about that. But thankfully, Callum was able to fix up a very fantastic array of thumbnails that I was able to pick from, and Callum actually allowed me to use those. So I want to say a massive thank you to Callum for allowing me to use those thumbnails. Thank you very much, sir.
That's fine. My remedies aren't just in the ring. I fix all. I create and I mend.
Exactly. Absolutely one of the most creative geniuses of the UK wrestling scene, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get into today's episode. We're going to start with questions. We're going to start, as you all know, if you are a regular subscriber here. If you're new around here, this is how the episode's going to go. We're going to kick off with a couple of questions about Callum's journey into professional wrestling, and obviously through his time in wrestling. I'll then also post to him a couple of Instagram questions that are being asked by a couple of subscribers. So I really do appreciate those. And then is where the second part of the interview is where we get into the mental health side of the interview. So there is a disclaimer in the description below. If you are suffering from mental health, make sure that you check out all the description, sorry, and make sure you check out the links below. Other than that, if you are ready, sir, we will kick off with the questions.
I'm ready when you are.
We'll be back in 2 seconds. So, Callum, the first question I'd like to ask is, what initially drew you to professional wrestling? Is it something that was a childhood dream, or is it something that you later discovered in life?
Well, this will probably annoy a lot of people, but I think wrestling personally found me quite late. It's something I feel like it sought me out. Obviously, every kid has grown up watching wrestling. I don't think there's a boy alive that didn't want to grow up to be Batista, John Cena, all those heroes, let's be honest. It's something I always followed, something I always enjoyed, but it was not something I was passionate about, if I'm honest, till just a few years ago. And weirdly, I think why I was so drawn to doing this is because it went side and side with my mental health journey and my kind of mending of a few wounds. And wrestling kind of saved me, as I'm going to now save it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just fair warning, guys, the questions today may be a bit deep, so there may be a few tears. But at the end of the day, we all are human, and Callum is your savior. He's
I
meant to be
am a
a
man. I
number one
bleed just the
contender.
same as everyone else.
Absolutely. So we've got a quick comment here from Big Geraldine, who says, "The Callum Crow." That is correct. It is the Callum Crow. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is the man, the myth, the legend that is Callum Crow. Make sure you tune in for the rest of the video.
I love that I'm getting a rep already.
I do try my best to big up the guests as much as I can. It's something that I'm quite fond of doing. So, can you describe, Callum, your training experience when you first stepped into the ring? What was that experience like?
It was a revelation for me. So many different things I have tried and failed at, so many different opportunities I've squandered myself. But when I stepped into a wrestling ring, I felt like destiny had kind of taken over. It felt like I'd found where I meant to have been years ago. It felt like this is where I was meant to be. I stepped into a wrestling ring just over a year ago now. It's coming to play for about 18 months, but it feels like this has been my whole life. It feels like this is what I was always truly meant to be.
Fantastic. Was it sort of like you stepped into the ring and it was a revelation of, this feels right. This feels as though it's something I was meant to do. Is that sort of the
I just noticed the things that people would be scared of in a wrestling ring, the pain, the the bumps, the getting back up. It didn't feel to phase me. And there was just, I was not great at the start. No one is, I don't think, but there was just things I knew I could just do naturally. There's things that just came to me, and it felt like the movements were just in me. It felt like I picked things up so quickly. It felt natural to me. And I think that's something that as well that kept me in wrestling, is because this is just who I am now. It allowed me to discover part of myself that I feel like maybe wasn't missing, but I just didn't know was there. And that's something I'm probably quite grateful for.
Definitely, definitely. So, what would you say have been some of the most memorable moments or matches in your career so far?
So in Liverpool, there's the M&S Bank Arena, and I believe every 6 months they host Comic-Con. And I was quite fortunate to make my non-Rumble debut there alongside the TNT Tag Team Champions, Isaac North and Rob Drake, Temple of Malum. It's the biggest stadium in Liverpool. It's this home city where I am from, and I felt like I was representing my home company. Obviously, I got stabbed in the back by Temple of Malum because they were jealous that I got the win. But I've been there before, and we don't need to rehash some old wounds. But that was a highlight. I had my supporters, I had people who were hating me, and every cheer and boo just fueled me. It was quite a refreshing experience. It felt like after such a short amount of time, it felt like a natural stage for me, or the biggest stadium in Liverpool. It's just what I'm built for.
Definitely, definitely. I do have to say that one of the first videos that I watched of yours, Callum, was your, as you just mentioned, your debut with the TNT champions. And I have to say that they may have gotten a decent pop from the crowd, but when you stepped out that curtain, the place just seemed to erupt. Obviously, they knew that they were in the grace of the king of the crows.
Well, they made their entrance and I just couldn't wait. I heard nothing. It was crickets. They stepped out. They told me to wait in the back. I couldn't. I stepped out in front of them. Only then were they interested. You watch that video back. Only then were they captivated. Only then I made the tag team champions special. But what does it say when they didn't bring me back? Were they scared? Who knows? But all I know is I got the win that day. And deep down inside, there is a seed of doubt in some champions' brains that a small little goth boy managed to get in their head. They couldn't get it done, but I always can.
Definitely, they cannot do it without the person that they need the most, which is Callum Crow.
Of course,
So,
everyone does.
so who would you say are some of the wrestlers that have inspired you throughout your journey?
Believe it or not, you would expect me to say people like Sting, Bray Wyatt, which are all great characters, but the guy who got me into wrestling, the guy who captivated me, was the ultimate underdog, and that is Dolph Ziggler. You see, I've always felt like I've been counted out. I've always felt like I've been underappreciated, and that man made me feel like I could be who I wanted to be. He made me feel like I could step out and I could be the highlight reel. I could be everything that everyone said I would never be. Do you know what? People still doubt him now. Nick Nemeth. They say he's the wanted man and they've shipped him out to TNA. But really, the true wanted man is yours truly.
Definitely, definitely. So, tell us, Callum, how do you prepare for a big match, both physically and mentally?
How do I prepare? I am prepared. Agony is just who I am. I get excited. I get thrilled. I get itchy for it. When I get laid out with a line, when I get smacked in the face, the pain just thrills me. It brings something deep within me. People may say I'm a bit of a freak, but honestly, since I've accepted that, since I have overcome What people have said, nothing can hurt me. So when I'm out there in the back, getting ready, I'm just looking at everyone else and thinking, there's nothing you can do to me that's not already been done, but there's everything I can take away from you. And I'm excited.
It's awesome. That really is awesome, mate. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your career so far, aside from mental health?
Honestly, very quickly, the injuries have started piling up. Um, I've separated my shoulder. I've torn joints, ligaments, everything. There's broken bones. There's a video of me gushing blood from my nose in training. But honestly, I have been injured my whole life. There is parts of my bones that are sticking out from my body. I've got lumps and bumps all over me. But wrestling has truly, truly tested my body. Currently, right now, I'm limping just from a knee sprain, I believe. And currently, still, if I move my shoulder, it feels like sandpaper. Mental health, that's one thing. But when I'm waking up and everything hurts, and for some reason I still want to get back in that ring, I think there's just something quite sick and twisted right there.
Definitely. So we have a couple of Instagram questions for you. First one is from Young Glory, who asks, "What should opponents fear most about stepping in the ring with Callum Crow?" And he's also included a little crow emoji.
Everyone should be using that. I want to start every single comment I see. I want to see a black little crow after it, just so I know you're behind me. But what my opponent should know is there's nothing you can do to me. There is nothing you can hurt me with. There is no bone that I have not snapped. There is nothing I have not bled out of. There is nothing that you can do say to me that has not been said to me my entire life. I have been bullied. I have been abused. There is nothing you can do. You may leave me unconscious in that ring, but you will never truly win. I just want to take everything from you. If you step in front of me, listen carefully. I will snap, crackle, and pop everything in you until you realize that you have made a mistake. I have got one destiny, and that is to save professional wrestling because it saved me. You are just a barrier. I don't care how many times you put me down, I will get back up and I will break you.
Awesome, mate. So I have a couple of questions from a mutual friend of ours, referee Steve Grimshaw. Has been an avid contributor to the channel. He says, "Great working with you at Comic Con. How was it being in there with Malum and Act 2?"
So it was quite a thrilling experience, if I'm honest. I was always a fan of Temple and Malum. I've been in the Liverpool wrestling scene. Honestly, you couldn't not be. They're one of the biggest things there right now. And honestly, someone like Isaac North, everyone's scared of him. But for some reason, I was excited. I was standing next to him, feeling his hot breath on my neck. And when everyone else would get chills, it just excited me. It fueled me. Act 2, honestly, they were fast. I started off the match. It was like a blur. I really couldn't keep up. I will say Rob did have to kind of bail me out at that point. I've never felt my arm twisted behind my back so quickly. I have not seen people flash in and out of the ring as quick as they did. I think, honestly, they are truly probably one of the best tag teams, young tag teams in the UK at the moment. And I think the sky's the limit for them. Did lose to me, but they didn't get the pin, I guess. So,
The sky may be the limit for people, but there are always crows above that sky.
Sir, these lines are impeccable. You can keep glossing me all day long.
So another one from Steve is, with the goth style similarity, do you see yourself being linked with Decca for a while?
Well, I was going to. I kept her as a good friend. She was actually the one that introduced me to claw wrestling school. A lot of people don't know that I had a relationship with Decca before wrestling. She is the one that gave me the confidence to step in there. And that's why I did feel truly stabbed in the back when she sided with that two against me. I thought she was my friend, but just to get an opportunity, she sided with the people that they put me against. I was quite disgusted. But there are opportunities coming up in the future, and I am a forgiving man. I am always stronger in numbers, and crows grow in a murder. If she wants to fall in line, she can fall in line. And I will truly make Decca something special.
Fantastic, mate. So last question from Steve is, what's it like training at CLAW under so many great coaches?
Honestly, it's amazing. There is no greater mind in wrestling than Dean Allmark, and I will stake everything on it. This man puts me in positions I did not even know I could get into. The moves that he can just come up with on the spot, keep going, bam, bam, bam. It's like watching a computer work in a human form. This is like everything to him, and you can see every single year of experience exuding out of him. There's also the likes of Sona Duran, who you cannot just move on. He will drill you senseless. You cannot make a mistake. You will have to be perfect. And I think that kind of environment makes people thrive, and it creates champions. Lucy Sky, forget about the two men. She hits harder than anything I have ever felt. I have never seen my feet higher in the air from a line ever. The wind gets taken out of me, and those are the times when I think, do I really want to get back in there? Forget about Isaac North, Rob Drake, and what they could do to me. Lucy Sky, but Deathmatch Lucy, that intrigues me, and that's something I think I want to see soon.
Definitely. So last one of the last questions, and it's from Liam at Magica Wrestling, a good friend of mine. Says, how important is social media for a wrestler to get noticed?
I think it's everything. In today's day and age, it is everything. I don't think there's any industry where if you do not have a social media profile, you can succeed. But I think also as well, it's a way to connect. It's a way to reach the people you wouldn't be able to reach. Without social media, I would be locked into a tiny little space. But with social media, I have reached people across the world. There are people who know me that shouldn't even know me. They've never seen me in real life, but they care about me because what I put on social media. And I think without social media, honestly, wrestling I don't think would be as big as it is today.
Definitely. So last other questions before we get back into the main part of the interview is again from Liam at Magica Wrestling, who says, is Isaac North really as tall as he seems in videos?
Yes, yeah, God, yeah. I've never looked like this at a man before. It was a skyscraper. I feel like I saw a little cloud around about his, like a little halo just going around. If you see the clip of me getting jumped back at the end of our match, I looked down at the mat and oh God, I felt like I had vertigo. It was going back and forth on me. He is a giant of a man. But what can I say? Goths can't scare Goths.
Exactly. Got a comment again from Big Geraldine, who says, got to see his first match was a Royal Rumble, and the pop he received was immense. The future of wrestling right there. You are very much correct, Geraldine. It is an honour to have Callum Crow on the pod today.
Well, I do really appreciate the fact that you were there for the beginning. And honestly, that will be a brag you can carry on for the rest of your life. Just give me a few years, and I promise that loyalty will be rewarded.
Fantastic, mate. So we're going to go into the mental health part of the interview now. So First question from this way is, you've been very open about your mental health journey so far. Can you share a bit about when you first started experiencing these struggles?
Yes, so personally, I have been struggling with mental health since I was about 11. I unfortunately had quite unfortunate experience with a abusive stepfather. Um, I won't go too much into that, but essentially he wasn't who he said he was, and he left myself in a situation, well, me and my family in a situation where we were almost made homeless. Since then, there have been many other things that have set off my mental health. Unfortunately, a few years ago, my father passed away to cancer, and that is one disease I was not able to cure. And that's something I probably will carry with me for the rest of my life. Um, Mental health is not something I think can just go away. It's just something that you learn to deal with and accept about yourself. But it is something that truly has affected me my whole life, and I think that is probably a reason why I found wrestling so late, because I was so lost in my own struggles. I wasted opportunities. I threw away my dreams just because I just did not think I could carry on anymore. I was already planning to not even see my 20s. And that's a sickening thing to say, but it is so true. And I think stepping out and becoming myself is something that gave me a purpose and gave me a direction. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I just knew that if I follow my own dreams, then that will take me somewhere. Luckily, my father instilled some really, really good lessons in me, and he always wanted me to be happy no matter what I was doing. So when I found wrestling, I thought, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? If I give it a try, it's a goal, it's a dream, it's an identity for me, and I've never looked back since.
That's absolutely brilliant. And I'm really sorry to hear about your dad, Callum. That is obviously something that no one should go through. Um, So, how has the demanding nature of professional wrestling impacted your mental health? Has it been a source of strength? Has it been a hindrance to your mental health at all, obviously, with injuries coming in?
So yeah, it's been a help. A lot of people probably say it's a struggle, but for me, the grind has given me a goal, it's given me a purpose, it's given me motivation. I think I was like many other people, you get stuck in this grind, this everyday mundaneness, and just having that quirkiness, that weirdness to say that I'm a wrestler, it gave me so much joy to think like I can step out and be something different. I think having the routine of training is cleared up so much of my mental health. Since starting training, I have lost over 50 pounds worth of weight. I've I've become a lot healthier. I eat better. I sleep better. No matter, even if I'm in pain, I know overall I'm a better person because of wrestling, because I am who I want to be.
Definitely, mate. So, have you faced any specific challenges related to mental health whilst wrestling? That could be performance anxiety, pressure, travel, body imagery, or social media scrutiny.
Do you know what I will say? Body image. If you actually go back and you look at my first match, there was a reason why I was wearing a shirt, because I always felt like I was ashamed about who I was. You look in the locker rooms and you look left and right, and you see these chiseled Adonises, and you think, how can I get to that stage? But I've come to accept who I am. That's why I'm wearing this top today, because I'm covered in stretch marks going up my body, down my stomach. But I kind of now wear them as a sense of pride, because that's who I used to be. It's not who I am today. Those are signs, those are memories for me now. It's the boy that was scared years ago, who didn't have an identity, didn't know where he was going, who ate for comfort, who binged because it made him feel safe, who didn't work out because he didn't have motivation. It's everything that I was, and I wear it on my body like stripes and scars and pride. And yeah, it's it's something now that I think I could be quite proud of, considering I don't have a six pack, but I'm not exactly overweight, and it's something I can be quite proud of because of I know where I was, and I don't think I'll ever be back there again because of wrestling.
It's fantastic, but I think I can speak for everyone that's watching when I say that we are all very proud of the journey that you've been on. I have to say that I've watched a couple of your videos where you've been putting on your makeup, particularly your neck makeup. It definitely is. It gives off like the Jeff Hardy vibes. Obviously, when he is putting on his makeup before matches. When you are obviously doing your makeup, is that sort of like? Does that give you a feeling as though you are cleansing any anxiety that is coming your way when you're about to go out for a match?
I think it's comforting. I think it's allowing me to channel something in myself. It's when I don't wear this neck paint, I feel like I'm just a man. I'm just a person. I'm vulnerable. When I wear this paint, it allows me to switch something in my brain. It's like how weightlifters wear gum shields so they can lock in for a lift. It's like when people wear their shin pads and their routine of putting on their socks. It's a way for me to become Callum Crow. It's a way for me to become me. And I think that moment of meditation, I think what it is before a match is really something that just allows me to become in that mindset. Um, yeah, like I say, I think I've never said that before, but meditation it is a little moment of to myself. I obviously like say like Isaac North does his face paint, and I probably if you ask him, he'll probably say the same thing. It allows him to become that monster that he is. Yeah,
Brilliant, fantastic. So, were there any particular moments or periods in your career so far where your mental health struggle felt particularly overwhelming, and how did you overcome those struggles?
I think if I'm honest, it would be recently. I think I've always struggled with mental health, but yeah, recently um, I've wanted to prove myself, and I think I'm trying to run before I can walk. I've got so much to give before, to this industry, and I think I want to get there as soon as possible. But there's so many people around me that tell me just to wait, just to take a little bit more time, just to protect who I am, and I'm so glad I did. Um, when it comes to my presence, my everything, I think even in the last few months, it's improved significantly. It's because I'm not just learning how to be in there and battle how I do. I'm now learning to have that presence and discover who Callum Crow truly is. Because wrestling isn't just about the pain, isn't about winning. It's about being more than a person. It's about being that entity. It's the aura. It's understanding how to just captivate the crowd and make sure they look at you and appreciate every move. I think, let's be honest, like I'm not to slag off Will Ospreay, but sometimes you watch some of those matches and you think it's just a gymnastic routine. What does it mean? I love his matches. I love who he is, but sometimes he can just get lost in doing the flips when you watch the Undertaker and he'll do one pile driver and you'll think, what? And it's learning how to be a wrestler recently. Um, so yeah, it's been the last few recent months, but I feel like I am now, because of the last few months, I'm now ready for that breakout. I'm ready to show myself in the last end of this year, and 2026 is where you will see me absolutely everywhere.
I'm sure I'm not the only person to say that I can't wait for that moment to come, and I can't wait to see what your career has in store in the future. So, what coping mechanisms or strategies have you found most effective in managing your mental health?
So if I'm honest, I've got a very small support network, but I would say I do lean quite heavily on my own partner. She has been a shining light in some dark days recently. as well, especially. But I think it's what really has like focused me is doing what I want to do and not being ashamed of what that is. I don't think I can have purple hair and all these piercings and tattoos and be ashamed of who I am. I think it's understanding that it's okay to be different. It's okay to not look like everyone else as long as that makes me happy. As well as I'd say I am a massive lover of animals, crows alike, obviously. But surrounding myself with animals is truly therapeutic. But weirdly, wrestling is my therapy. Wrestling is what focuses me. It's what's given me so much relief in my daily life because I can be something that I am not, but I also at the same time I've always meant to be.
Definitely, mate. So obviously, as you mentioned, your partner. What is her? Has she ever come to watch you wrestle? And what is her reaction when you come out?
She loves it. I'm not going to tell you what happens on later in the night, but gosh, all I can say is it works. Become a wrestler. That's all I'm saying, guys. Become a wrestler.
So when you first obviously started dating your partner, and you mentioned that you were becoming a professional wrestler, what was her initial reaction? And when she comes to watch you with your matches, do you tell her to boo you if you are a heel, or do you just allow her to organically react to you while you're on your main stage?
I never tell her anything. I just need to look for her in the crowd sometimes and know there's just someone there that's in my corner. I don't care if everyone else is booing. If she wants to cheer, she wants to cheer. Um, to be fair, she's quite quiet. She's just gives me a smile, and I know she sees me. I know she doesn't just see Callum Crow. I know she sees the person behind it, and that proud look that she gives me. She doesn't have to say a word. I understand. Um, she's just there to support. She doesn't need to be anything. She doesn't need to shout, scream, anything. It's just having someone there that I know is, like I say, in my corner. Is all I need.
Fantastic, awesome. So, as I say, you mentioned your missus has been a support system for you outside of the ring. Is there a support system that you have while you are in wrestling? Is there someone backstage that you can go talk to about any problems you are having that will offer help, or is it just that you keep to the missus?
Yeah. So I will say someone who has been really good to me in my journey, who has given me pretty much every opportunity I've had, is Jay Apter. He is the owner of TNT. He's someone who's pretty much put his arm around me and told me I was special when I already knew, but he saw something in me and that bit of belief to give me all the opportunities I have had. Whether it be the rumbles that I've been in, whether it was my first opportunity in Comic Con, he's been the guy. I feel like there's nothing I can't go to him about. People may say he has a bit of a scary aura, but when you know Jay, he's the biggest puppy dog on the inside. Not to just glaze him because he's given me every opportunity, but yeah, he's been the guy who, like I say, who's allowed Callum Crow to become what he is today. But then there's also like my coaches, the Dean that I train most with, Dean Allmark. I don't know if I necessarily go to him, but he's someone who I feel comfortable around, and he definitely motivates me. And then I've got a few trainees that I work quite close with. There is Lucian, who is another trainee wrestler you will see definitely at the end of this year. I think definitely going quite under the radar. Part of the Goth squad, as we say in Claw. Decca, messed me around, but she could say she was still the person who got me to the dance. So I've definitely talked to her a lot. And someone you probably wouldn't expect is Jack Critchlow, the Critch dog himself, the Scouse loudmouth. He is everything that everyone says about him and more. But he is claw through and through, and he bleeds wrestling, absolutely bleeds wrestling. So if you have anything, he will tell you. If you do something wrong, he's also going to tell you. If you need something, he's there as well, though. And I truly appreciate that constant honesty. You never don't know where you stand with him, if you know what I mean.
Definitely, mate. So obviously, with your character being quite eccentric and quite alternate, do you face any controversy whilst at wrestling shows, and do you face any controversy on social media, and how do you overcome that controversy?
Bring it on. If it just fuels me. I love that people hate me. Everyone says to be a good heel, you need to love it. I love it. I hate the fact. I know. I love the fact that you hate me just because the way I look. I love it. I'm in your head and I've said not a single word. And that's all I have to do. I have to be there and you hate me. It just means I'm doing my job right just by my presence. If you don't like me, that's fine. You don't pay the bills. Well, actually, you do, because you're there to hate me. And you're still filling my wallet, aren't you? So cry all you want. Hate me all you want. It's just fuel to the fire.
Fantastic, mate. So, what message would you give to other wrestlers or anyone that is watching who might be struggling with their mental health in silence?
I would say find that person who you feel safest talking to. If you don't have anyone, there is always people to reach out to. Like you say, there's probably, like you say, links in the description. There's always someone you can talk to. If talking sometimes as well, I've been there, and I'll be honest, sometimes talking doesn't help. But find an outlet, find a way to get those emotions out. If you need to battle it by yourself, I would say that's your choice. But figure out a motivation. You need a goal. There's always needs to be a goal. If you're just spinning around in circles, you're going to stay where you are. If you're not working towards something, there's nothing going to be better. Mental health is a struggle. It is a grind. It's horrible. It's so much work to get out of, but it's possible. It's achievable. I've been there. I think everyone's had mental health struggles, but if you just keep going, give yourself motivation, give yourself a goal, set a target, work, and fucking, do you know what? Just struggle. It's hard. Just struggle. Keep struggling. You'll get there.
Definitely, mate. I think that's really fantastic advice. So we've got another comment here from Louise Da Silva, who says, You're amazing, Callum. It's always good to see you at shows." Of course he is, Louise. He is the Prince of Agony. He is Callum Crow. Of course he is amazing. You are just stating the obvious.
Louise as well. I know who's at my first match. He wears my shirt now. That boy is amazing. That kid, fuels me. I don't think he's actually missed a match yet, technically. So someone I do appreciate, and he is saying nothing but truth there. I am truly a gift to wrestling. I am amazing. And it's just glad to know that someone else sees it.
Definitely. So obviously, as the viewers can see, you have a very, very lovely shirt behind you. Where can the people find that gorgeous shirt? Is that up for sale?
So this one is going now, but just you wait. I've got 2 little designs coming up. They will be posted on my Instagram very shortly. I have updated my logo. It is now more creepy, more extravagant. Some would say better. And then I've got a slogan shirt that may be 18 plus, but I think it's hilarious.
Fantastic. So make sure that you check out Callum Crow. If you haven't already, then what are you doing with your life? You need to get out from under your rock. Make sure you check out Callum Crow at Callum_Crow on Instagram for that fantastic shirt. Moving on to the next question for you, my good friend. How do you believe that professional wrestling as an industry can better support its performers' mental well-being?
Now, that is actually quite a good question, because I think it's pressure. I think wrestling is just pressure. You are given such little time to get ready, you're given such little time to perform. I think there needs to be a possible, so there's always, I thought, there's become a standard now to have medics, have physios, have all those people there now at matches. Why is there not someone who's dedicated to talking to the wrestlers? So why is there not someone that is dedicated to understanding anxiety and pressure, and someone that is the dedicated person that you can go speak to? Some trained personnel. I understand that there's maybe not some shows, there's not the financial aspect there, but I think there's also so many shows where it could just be a dedicated member of staff that could be mental health trained, mental health first aid trained, because that is a thing, that is something you can get qualified in. And I've just thought, why isn't there just, in an industry where there is so much anxiety and there's so much pressure, why isn't there someone you can just go to talk to?
Definitely, mate, definitely. So, obviously, the mere mortals that are fans obviously have quite a few prejudices about wrestlers. Obviously, that they are strong, that they are larger than life, that they are real life superheroes. What sort of advice would you offer to fans who watch such as this episode and want to start to support wrestlers such as yourself, who are open about their mental health struggles?
I think just take a second, because the things you type on a screen, that goes to someone else's screen and they read it. It's not just a type it and leave it. This goes to someone else. It affects someone else. It's the, of course, if the heel's being a cunt, spew them out of the house. But then don't go afterwards and threaten them. Don't go afterwards and break them down. You know, it's at the end of the day, this is a show business. This is a performance. This is for your viewing pleasure. But these are people at the end of the day. Just take a second to think, are you saying this to a character, or are you saying this to a person?
Definitely, mate. So, how do you balance the need to portray a strong character in the ring with the reality of your personal mental health journey?
I think my character is my strength. I think that's how I deal with it. I think Callum Crow is everything I have always wanted to be, and I think he brings out everything that I dare not say. I think weirdly, it's not my weakness to portray this character. It's everything that, it's my shield, it's my armor that I wear quite proudly. The neck paint is definitely for show, it's definitely to grab attention, but why shouldn't I? I think I deserve attention. I think I deserve the eyes on me, and Callum Crow can say anything he wants, and what are you going to do about it?
Definitely, mate. So, as we start to wind down, one of the last questions are: what are your aspirations and goals within professional wrestling for the future?
Professional wrestling is sick. It is twisted. It is profoundly flawed. There is vanity and lies in everything. There are false champions who are not proud to wear the belts that they have been given. There are so many people who waste their opportunities and take the companies that they work for granted. Wrestling owes you nothing. You take everything from it, wrestlers. But listen here. I am the cure to professional wrestling. I am the remedy to your sickness and plights. When you waste your opportunities that you threw away like I did, it sickens me. You twist the narrative to fit yourself, but I am here to put an end to it. I am the savior of professional wrestling because I will say what people dare not, and I will break the people who are false champions. Professional wrestling is sick, like I said, and I am the cure.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. So, last question for you. Like to end the podcast on a bit of a lighter note, and this is a question that I've asked quite recently, and for the last couple of guests, it has caused a bit of brain malfunction. I don't think that's going to happen with you, good sir. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Oh, I've always wanted to say this. Oh, and it's going to rub some people the wrong way. So I think iconically, people for some reason overlook Bruno Sammartino, and when you talk about Mount Rushmore, you've got to go with the first, and I don't think so many people do. Then there's obviously the iconic like characters. You have to go with like John Cena for what he took professional wrestling to do. I personally, this will definitely rub people the wrong way. I'm not putting Hulk Hogan there. I think you can ruin your reputation, and personally, I think he did. What he gave to wrestling was undeniable, but I wanted to personally say this right now. He's not going on my Mount Rushmore. So there's two. Now, you also have the likes of like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You have other icons, but I think someone who challenged wrestling, someone who dominated wrestling in a different way was Jeff Hardy. I think you've never had an icon who's challenged the norm, who has broken out from the norm, who has been authentically himself, and people have loved who he is. It wasn't about the flashy moves, it was about how he expressed himself no matter what. Obviously, he had his out of the ring, shenanigans. Wasn't racist though, just saying. But he was an icon, and I think just by that's for me. He's on my Mount Rushmore because he made me feel like someone who doesn't just look like your blonde-haired, blue-eyed, chiseled abs. Was it blue-eyed? They call it in America. Someone else can be that guy, be the main guy, be the man. And then I'd have to say, honestly, iconically, someone who would carry wrestling and who represented what it meant to be a wrestler with intensity is the man who is now still running WWE as Triple H. I think people don't appreciate what he's done outside the ring, and I think that adds to his legacy. Because, you have the Vince McMahon era, but everything that it was made wrestling this mainstream thing that's battling with the likes of like the NFL and such. Like, wrestling was always popular, but it was always fighting with other wrestling companies. It wasn't fighting with the top entertainment echelon, and he's the person that's probably brought that to the forefront. He's made it what it is today, and I think I'd have to say those four.
Fantastic, mate. I've got to say that's probably my favourite Mount Rushmore of the lot that I've received so far.
And I've thrown things in there just to piss people off.
Controversy creates cash, my friend. Controversy creates cash.
I'm just stirring the pot. Just stirring the pot.
Fantastic, mate. So in essence, that is all for the episode today, mate. I've got to say, guys, I've absolutely loved this episode, getting to know Callum, getting Callum to share his stories. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you go give Callum a follow on Instagram if you haven't already, Callum_Crow. Is there anything at all that you want to say or plug or anything, Callum? The floor is yours.
I will say, people I think at the moment would be scared to reach out, but as much as I am a character, much as I am this presence at the moment, I want to create something in wrestling. I want to be a face of something different in wrestling. Not to just steal for something like Youngblood, who has created a community in music. where people can be different. I think there is a community in wrestling where people are still stupidly scared to be that difference. It's okay to speak up and it's okay to come to people. And if I can be a difference maker in someone else's mental health journey, then it's fine. If you want to give me a message at all, I am very much reachable. If you feel like you are struggling, just know that I've been there. I am the physical embodiment of that. Mental health does not take over. It might pull you down. It might feel like it's drowning you, but I promise I've been there and I'm still there. It's not something that's going to go away. You just need to keep fucking fighting. As long as you're fighting, you're still here, and that's all that matters.
Couldn't say I've said it better myself, Callum. Like I say, really do appreciate you coming on the pod today. Thank you, everyone that's watched the episode. Make sure that you go watch this again because it really is a fantastic listen. Make sure that you join us next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, where I will be speaking to the silencer, Damien Black. Callum, I will let you finish off with the last word. You may have the floor, sir.
Professional wrestling, I've got one thing to say to you. The cure has arrived.